What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the intern. Today is Kyrie Irving is out. Who should I pick up? We're going to be talking about the Dallas Mavericks, a little about the story about them, and kind of what's going on this season, because there is a lot of things that we kind of have to talk about because, let's be honest here, the Dallas Mavericks is having one of, if not, I wouldn't say the worst, but one of the horrible luck train and injury seasons we've seen in a little bit. I think you can obviously look at the Grizzlies, look at injuries. You can look at the Pelicans this year, look at injuries. But when we're talking about the luck, everything that fan base has gone through, and what is going on right now in an organization, there's nothing that's going to be topping the Dallas Mavericks for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead, talk about it, and we're going to actually also talk about who should you pick up with Kyrie Irving out and kind of Anthony Davis also somewhat being out. So let's talk about what happened. Kyrie Irving is out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. And the thing that I want to talk about as well is because the possibility is that could we see Kyrie Irving potentially be out for a little bit next season? And I think that is the possibility or going to happen when you think of how long does it take for a torn ACL? It's usually about 9 months. So 9 months from now is December-ish. Around then. It's not amazing. Not something you love, truthfully. So I do have to say that with him being out and with that going on, it's going to suck to see Kyrie Irving be the one that has a torn ACL and being out for a little bit. But what should you do as a Dallas Mavericks maybe enthusiast of trying to think of who you could pick up? What should you do? So that's what we're here and talking about today. But let's also go through a lot of the injuries that also are here because we have to talk about those to see who also you could pick up. So Derek Lively announced that he'll be reevaluating 4 weeks, which technically didn't happen. I think they actually added some time to Derek Lively, so he's still out. Daniel Gafford out for at least 6 weeks, which is going to keep him out, obviously, through probably end of March, which could be a lot of end of fantasy year, seasons. PJ Washington out for Monday's game against the Kings. Kyrie Irving out for the year. Caleb Martin is now kind of doing a little better. Anthony Davis situation, he's not out for the rest of the season, but there's a lot of reports that people think that the Mavericks could shut him down for the rest of the season because Kyrie's out, that there's no point in anything with the Dallas Mavericks, that they should just, stay injured and they should try and shut him down to really savor him. It's not savior. And then Hardy as well is somebody that is going to miss some time. So Jane Hardy was going to be one of my pickups. I think he is still a decent pickup. He's not bad at all. But with him also missing time, not looking good on the end for the Dallas Mavericks, truthfully. I feel like you still want to wait a little bit. So let's start talking about the people. And I think number one on my list is going to be Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, we're not technically going 1 through 4 with the 4 people I think you should go for. But Spencer Dinwiddie is by far one of the players I think needs to be picked up. Because you have to think he's probably going to be their main facilitator or main point guard on this team with Kyrie out, Luka not here anymore. Jane Hardy out. It's kind of looking like Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, obviously you have Klay Thompson there as shooting guard, but when it's coming to the assist numbers, when it's coming to filling up the stat sheet, Spencer Dinwiddie is probably going to be the one to do it. And I don't think that this is a bad pickup at all. And I think is anything going to help you more than hurt you, which I think is going to be really needed in a situation like this. Because let's be honest here. It's kind of, and when I'm uploading this, is when we'll kind of realize from the first go around who's going to get the most minutes, who's going to do what. This team right now, to me, is up for grabs. Obviously, I mean, when an injury's down, the touches go everywhere. But when you have Anthony Davis that's also gone, there is a lot of switch up, a lot of things that can happen throughout the rest of the season that Dallas could be playing young guys more to try and build them up. Dallas could be trying to go towards veterans to still make the playoffs. Whatever it might be, Dallas is still going to try in some sense switch up lineups, mesh them up, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be a focal point of one of those mesh ups, and if anything, he's going to be a key player in a lot of them. So Spencer Dinwiddie, one that I'm feeling pretty good about. Up next, we have Najee Marshall. When we're looking at probably somebody that might not get a lot depending on Kyrie Irving's injury, but for now, I would still get Najee Marshall. Has had all-around stats. I mean, when you look at his points, you look at his rebounds, his assists, especially his steals, he's been looking good. And I think Najee Marshall, I would say, is probably my second on here for sure now. He would be second pickup, I think, if you could. Because I think when you're looking at Najee Marshall getting higher games, it might not happen, but averaging pretty well, getting good fantasy stats lines for those 9-cat leagues. Najee Marshall is really nice and could be better than a Spencer Dinwiddie in a lot of the 9-cat leagues, depending on how Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, I like Spencer Dinwiddie probably a little more, but Najee Marshall is definitely still up there. I just want to see when PJ Washington comes back, which could happen sooner rather than later, what happens with Najee Marshall. But for now, again, with the oh my gosh, with the power kind of up for grabs, I would still pick up a player because once the power's gone, they got to make it up somehow, and they could switch it up, and Najee Marshall could be a big player. Up next, we have Max Christie. Now, a lot of leagues have Max Christie availability kind of skewed, I would say, because some leagues you'll see 60, some leagues you'll see 20, some leagues you'll see, 80% available. Something crazy. Max Christie, I believe, will be a focal point moving forward because you think of the youth, you think of what he's already done with his team, what he's been with a scorer, filling out the stat sheet with some steals as well. Max Christie's getting it done. And that's the good thing that you're seeing if you're a Max Christie owner is because with, again, Kyrie out, Anthony Davis out, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, whatever it might be, even though there's centers and power forwards, players are going to still be needed to play these minutes. Max Christie, I believe, is going to be a focal player for this Mavericks team from the end of the season. Just how Quentin Grimes, when it has come to the Sixers, and the Sixers have been a bad team so far, they're going to probably keep playing him till the end of the season. And he's been so good, he's been getting the touches, you got to keep him on your team. I believe that's going to be Max Christie in this Dallas Mavericks scenario. And then Dante Exum, I would actually put as my last because, one, he's kind of injured right now. Two, he's not as reliable. And three, the minutes aren't nice. I don't think the minutes look as good as you would hope for. They've been kind of so far. To me, it kind of screams out mid in a way, truthfully. And I do have to say that I think Dante Exum would be worth it if it was more consistent in his numbers, but for now, they're not as consistent at all. And that's a big shock for me, or not a big shock, that's a big worrisome for me. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.